Hello, more questions for me to answer for you. And my first question comes courtesy of ShayBryn. Hey, how long would you say your hair should be to begin dreading? Then this person's actually left a name and it's from Sarah. Hello Sarah. How long should the hair be? How long should the hair be? I would say probably bare minimum about 6 inches worth of hair, just because that's the amount of hair that you would need to actually physically hold on and back home or twist and rip, but the longer the better. If you have longer hair, you'll find it easier to back comb or twist and rip, and there'll be more there to sort of bunch up and be less likely to fall out straight away, and there's more to get rubbed around and just generally lock up faster. I've seen people with really long hair go for dreadlocks and they've locked up really fast, whereas if you have really short dreadlocks to begin with, it seems like there's a sort of waiting period where your dreadlocks don't lock up as fast because you kind of got to wait for them to lock up and grow. If you're going with a neglect method though, you should just stop brushing as soon as possible, because it's just better to get the hair locking from the start rather than wait for it to grow out before you stop brushing. So I'm probably going to say the same as most people, whereas at least 6 inches, but preferably longer, and even more preferably much longer because it's better. This question is from R1234233, and this person, the jumper is the number doesn't give a much away to the gender, so I'm just going to say this person says, what sort of bands / guitarists do you like? Aha, my first non-dreadlock related question. I did say at the start that I would answer pretty much anything apart from I have actually decided I will answer any questions that you throw at me as long as they are not political or religion related, because those two are whole like box of worms. Is that a box of worms? Is that the phrase? Can of worms. So I do have a few more non-dreadlock related questions in the queue, but this is my first one I've answered. What sort of bands / guitarists do you like? Ooh, I'm going to have to be short with this one because otherwise it's going to take up a whole video to list bands. I can talk about music for a long time. So if you want to know any deeper than what I'm going to answer now, you're going to have to ask me more questions. I like the Beatles and Led Zeppelin. I like original Fleetwood Mac, not the Fleetwood Mac with the women in it. The original Fleetwood Mac with Peter Green in it, where it's just all guys and all English guys. The original blues line for Fleetwood Mac. AC/DC and Black Sabbath, Rolling Stones, Creedence Clearwater Revival, and some more modern stuff like Ghost and Down, Airborne, Phyllis and the Drills. Have a Last.fm page and some Bubble Tonic on Last.fm. I can put a link in the description box of my jig, and anyone who has Last.fm can add me as a friend, and you can see all the music that I listen to there. Everything that I play on iTunes gets scrabbled up and put into some graphs and things there. And also on my Last.fm page, I have a list down the side, which is kind of took me a long time and is a little bit lame, but it's a list of all the bands I've seen because I forget, and other people ask, have you seen this, have you seen that? And so there's quite a long list because I've seen quite a lot of stuff. And my favourite guitarists that I like: Peter Green, Eric Clapton when he was in the Blues Breakers, so really old Eric Clapton, Joe Bonamassa. Really, I do like a lot of bands and guitarists, so I'm not going to turn this into a like hour-long list of music and talk about music. So if you have any more questions about bands and music, anyone out there, you can ask me new questions and we can spread the stuff out. Lenore Osorio. Hey, my dreads are 2 years and 3 months old. I don't do anything to them, but should I maintain the roots or do anything to them? They are locked but not all the way to the roots. Your dreads are beautiful, and do you do anything to them? You can do things to the roots, and I mean that as in there are things you can possibly do to the roots. How locked to the roots do you want them? If they're locked really tight to the root, then they're kind of going to stick out and end a little bit. They need a little bit of slack there to bend downwards. People who crochet really tight to the root, they often end up with dreads sticking up and sticking out, and then they will leave questions asking, why do my dreads not lay flat? So I don't crochet. I've not crocheted these dreadlocks, and mine aren't actually locked all the way to the roots. I can probably fit a finger through the loose hair between the dreadlock and the root, but that's how I think they're supposed to be, so that they have, you know, that slack bit there so they can bend. So it sums up the question all in one. Fly attacking the window there, trying to come in. A cameo spot. I don't think you should do anything to them, personally, especially not if they're 2 years old. They're probably alright if you've left them alone for 2 years. And no, I don't do anything to my hair other than wash and dry it. Question from Kenaa. Hi again. I'm doing this, aren't I? Keep it down. Hi again. I've had my dreads for 1 year and 1 month. Yay! And I've added wool dreads to the end of my dreadlocks because I wanted them longer. You can probably see them in my thumbnail. They're white. This is alright, isn't it? Am I going to get mold, etc.? Lots of people put extensions on their dreadlocks. Mainly because when you get dreadlocks, they shrink a little bit, and so the dreadlocks you get aren't as long as the hair you had before, and lots of people want really long dreadlocks, so you can sort of cheat and make them longer sooner by adding extensions. Or, you know, if you want them a bright colour, then it's easier to put extensions on, I guess, because it's hard to get white dreadlocks. I don't know. I don't really know much about dyeing hair. But, okay. Extensions. You mentioned you had your dreadlocks for about a year, or 1 year and 1 month, it says on here, and that is good because I don't think it's a great idea to put extensions on really... Oh dear. It's not good to put extensions on really young dreadlocks because you need to kind of let the hair do its own thing until they've started to mature. But if your dreadlocks are about a year old, then it's fine to put extensions on. And no, you won't necessarily get mold, and you're as likely to get mold as anyone else with that sort of length dreadlock. But there's some things you should be aware of, because the dreadlocks are now longer. You are going to take... It is going to take longer to dry them because they'll soak up more water. If you want to avoid mold, you will have to make really sure that you're drying them thoroughly. And something you have to be aware of is residue. I think residue is probably a bigger problem than mold. I mean, the two kind of tie into each other. The junction, the connection between the dreadlock and the extension, the bit where they connect, that can be sort of a bottleneck kind of deal. So you're washing your hair and the soap and water runs through your normal dreadlock, and then when it gets to the connection, it can kind of get backed up there. So the soap that would normally run out the end gets stuck. You have to be really careful to really wash and squeeze that part to make sure nothing gets stuck there. So as long as you're really careful there, you should be alright with residue. But general normal rules apply. Wash them thoroughly, rinse through thoroughly, and take extra care to make sure nothing is getting built up in either the dreadlock, the junction, or the extension. And yes, make sure that the wool extensions are not staying wet for long periods of time, because that is how you get mold. But as long as you're careful, as you should be with normal dreadlocks anyway, you will be perfectly fine. And one more from Mickey Harris. Question: your dreads are pretty long and thick. Do they ever weigh you down or hurt your neck? Some people say their dreads make their neck and back hurt, and some people don't even mention it. And by the way, I'm obsessed with your dreads, they're perfect. Oh, thank you. My dreadlocks do weigh me down. I've mentioned a few times that I trim my dreadlocks. So although at this point in time, the point of uploading this video, they are almost 6 years old. But this is not how long dreadlocks would be after 6 years. My hair grows pretty fast. If I had never cut my dreadlocks after 6 years, they would probably be down to my knees. Because each year, I cut a considerable amount off. I think last year I cut about 5-6 inches off each dreadlock. A fair amount. And that's because A, I don't really like having really long dreadlocks because they're sort of awkward with clothes and to wash and dry. But B, because they give me neck and back pain. They do get heavy. Right now they're fine, you know, they're dry, but when I'm washing my dreadlocks, so when I'm in the shower and they fill up with water, each one fills up with water, yeah, it gets quite heavy. And then the period when I'm drying the dreadlocks, I'm shaking my head around and have to walk around with a towel on my head for a little bit. It's pretty heavy, and I do get neck pain, so I like to trim them when I trim the dreadlocks. So last year when I took big chunks out, it felt like my head was weightless. It's pretty funny. You don't realise how much they weigh because, you know, you're with them every day and you get used to it. I'm just going to wrap up my questions for today. If you still have any questions, you can leave a question in comment form on this video. Just remember to put question at the start of the comment, otherwise I will reply to it with a YouTube comment and not a video reply. As always, if you want to see more videos, subscribe. If you like this video and if you like my questions video, please just press the thumbs up, because then I know that it's actually liked, because I do a few different types of video and I like to know which ones people actually are enjoying. So if you're liking this video, you just click the thumbs up, and then I will look at all my videos and be like, oh, this video is getting thumbs up, I must be doing something right. You can tweet me if you want to talk, if you want to ask me some questions, or just follow what I'm tweeting and up to, and I think that's everything. Okay, thanks, bye!